Hello, welcome back to All Content in Smash. I'm not Nantenjex, but I am AShadowLink, and I'll be taking over for this episode, as I am the biggest Devil May Cry fan here at Source Gaming. Devil May Cry is the granddaddy of all 3D action games, and has directly influenced current Smash fighters like Bayonetta, so the history and importance is there. Having just been revived with the recent Smash hit Devil May Cry 5, and finally seeing a mainline release on a Nintendo console with Devil May Cry for the Nintendo Switch, I figure it's high time to talk about Devil May Cry in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's start the party off with our fighter, Dante. He's the main character, and he's who the series started off with. So of course, it's gotta be him. So how would he play? Well, there's a lot of options with Dante. He has so many moves in his games that any number of combinations could be possible. One option is a jack-of-all-trades set, like my DMC4 based Dante set from earlier this year, where the focus was on incorporating as many weapons from the series' history as possible. But I feel like if the Smash team were to handle a Dante set, they'd want it to be as focused as possible on a core set of weapons, so I'm doing a new Dante set focused around his abilities in Devil May Cry 5. That will be hitting later, but for now, let's go over his special moves. So, you see this? These are Dante's styles. You see how they're laid out in 4 directions? Remind you of anything? That's right, Dante's specials can be directly linked to moves from his different styles. Apart from one, Royal Guard. That's the one here at the bottom. Smash already has a guard function, so Royal Guard would be Dante's guard. Royal Guard is a bit hard to explain, and the focus of these videos is just going over specials, but essentially it would replace a passive shield, and to block with Dante you would have to input at the correct time. So, at the top of our styles is Trickster. Trickster is all about mobility and can be used in the air and on the ground to go a greater distance. While Dante can teleport with this style, I think it would be more interesting to use his dashes instead. On the ground, Dante will execute a dash, which has him, well, dash forward horizontally. In the air, Dante will execute Sky Star, which summons a platform behind him that pushes him forward horizontally. In addition, this move wouldn't put Dante into freefall, so he can still attack and jump after it. Both moves do the same thing, just in different situations. They're different moves in the source material, so having them both be represented would be a nice reference. We've got 2 styles on the middle plane, but only one of them can be the neutral special. I'm going to go with Swordmaster, which grants Dante extra moves for his melee weapons. The particular move Dante will use from Swordmaster is the Prop and Shredder combo, which has Dante swing his signature sword Rebellion around clockwise, then counterclockwise. This is a 2-hit combo, and the second move can be triggered by pressing the button again. It can also be held to extend the attack. This attack isn't usable in the air in Devil May Cry, so instead Dante will use Aerial Rave, a 4-hit combo of slices in the air. Each attack will be triggered by a separate button press. Just like the ground special, Dante cannot move during this attack, and like the game, he will be suspended in the air until it's over. The other style on the middle plane is Gunslinger, which gives extra moves for all of Dante's firearms. I neglected Dante's trusty shotgun in my previous moveset, so I'm going to have Dante's side special be Gunstinger. Gunstinger has Dante charge forward while firing off his shotgun, which is a good utility move. Pressing the special button during the attack will have Dante do a roll and use Cut in front, which can be comboed with a jump. Using the move in the air will lock Dante into a forward dash, similar to his up special, and he will roll and shoot his gun if he hits the ground. Finally, what will be taking Royal Guard's place as the down special? Well, Dante's Devil Trigger. In order to activate Devil Trigger, you need at least 3 bars in his Devil Trigger gauge, which will be located above his fighter UI. In order to fill the bars, you need to perform various actions like skillfully avoiding attacks, successfully landing attacks, taking damage, and taunting at opportune times. Dante will have access to 10 bars that can be filled, which will last for 10 seconds total, 1 second for each bar. While Dante is in DT, he will have powered up moves and very slight health regeneration. For our final smash, we'll be delving into mid-game spoilers for DMC5 here. I would pick something else, but DMC5 gave me the absolute perfect final smash, and it's not above Smash Brothers to spoil a game that just came out. So I'll try to be as non-specific as possible. If you want to skip this, I'll still provide a timestamp on screen for after this section is done. For Dante's final smash, he'll activate his ultimate Devil Trigger and unleash his strongest technique, Judgment. Dante unleashes a fury of demonic energy and decimates everything in his immediate vicinity, before falling back to the ground and changing back to his regular form. And that does it for the specials. Dante's overall moveset will involve a mixture of techniques I've handpicked, from his Sword Rebellion, his Gauntlets Balrog, his dual pistols Ebony and Ivory, and his shotgun Coyote A. I'll be going over his full moveset in detail in its own video, so I hope you look forward to that then. Moving on to his alternate costumes, Dante would of course have his default outfit be his signature attire from Devil May Cry 5. For his blue outfit, he'll have a color scheme based on his brother, Virgil. His coat is blue, his shirt is blue, a lot of blue on this color scheme, rounded out with brown gloves and boots. We're going a little obscure with the green costume. In the DMC novel, Dante faces off against Gilver, who is the main antagonist of that story. He is said to have worn a stark green suit. We never had confirmation of his exact palette, but thanks to the EX costume for V in Devil May Cry 5, which references Gilver, we have a color scheme to work off of. Next up, we have an alternate blue color based on Nero's attire from Devil May Cry 5. It provides more contrast than the Virgil alt thanks to the dark red shirt, and uses a more muted shade of blue for the jacket. And next is an alt based on V from Devil May Cry 5. It's all black, save for Dante's hair, because Dante just doesn't look good with black hair. V's got the emo scene look going, so all black is unavoidable with him. Then we have a purple alt, based on Dante's father, Sparta, whose human form makes him look like a big goof. I see the apple didn't fall too far from the tree, huh? This alternate red skin is based on Dante's original appearance from his first game, Devil May Cry. Wearing nearly all red isn't the best for contrast, but somehow he makes it work. Luckily, he still has black sleeves and boots to balance it out. Lastly, we have a dark skin in the vein of Dark Link, loosely based on the doppelganger boss from Devil May Cry 3. That boss was Dante overcoming his dark side, just like Link facing against Dark Link, so I thought this would be a cool reference and a good way to round out the set. And new to this series, we have Mii costumes. Similar to how Persona got a Mii Fighter outfit for both the Persona 3 and 4 heroes, Devil May Cry would have two costumes as well. First up, we have a Mii Sword Fighter costume for Virgil, taking on his appearance from Devil May Cry 3, complete with a Yamato. Wouldn't be a party without Virgil, huh? Second, we have a Mii Sword Fighter costume for Nero in his Devil May Cry 5 attire, coming battle ready with Red Queen. Nero is fast becoming the second most important character in Devil May Cry, with 2 starring roles, so it would be wrong not to include him. Thank you to Ayasobu for providing the artworks for these Mii fighters. I have him draw me stuff like this at the last minute for a lot of my videos, but I've never given him a proper shout out before, so go check him out, at Ayasobu on Twitter. I've also made custom Mii fighters for these characters, which will have the codes for each on screen, including extra ones for Dante and Nello Angelo. You'll see why there's that second one in a moment. For the stage, probably the most iconic battlefield from the Devil May Cry series is at the top of the Temen Negru, where Dante and his brother Virgil faced off for their first fight in Devil May Cry 3. It's even in the intro video. It's a suitably climactic looking arena, and it could even be raining to enhance the mood. It's a simple, flat battleground in Devil May Cry, but some platforms could be added to give better mobility and more variety. And for the music, Devil May Cry has a variety of memorable songs, so it's hard for me to pick just 11 from the entire series. I will do my best to compile a best of. Let's rock! Onto Dante's Classic Mode. Using the characters and stages found in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we can make a mock reenactment of Dante's journey through the Devil May Cry series. With each stage, appropriate background music will play, so I'll highlight the background music at the upper right of the screen. For round 1, you face off against a Virgil Mii fighter on the Temen-Negru, recreating the climactic battle at the beginning of Devil May Cry 3. For round 2, you fight Dark Samus and Red Ridley on Pilot Wings, with each representing Nightmare, Griffin, and Malay Island respectively, all from Devil May Cry. For round 3, you'll clash against another Mii sword fighter, this one being a horrible abomination that's a fusion of Virgil's head and Black Knight's body, representing the tragic fight against Nello Angelo. Told you it would come back. You fight him on Omega Form Temple. For round 4, you face off against a Nero Mii sword fighter on Kalos Pokemon League, because it's the closest thing to a holy temple in the game, reenacting the opening fight from Devil May Cry 4. For round 5, you fight a giant red Bowser on Omega Form Norfair, referencing the fight against Burial from Devil May Cry 4. For round 6, you face a white Ganondorf on Midgar, referencing the fight against Cavalier Angelo from Devil May Cry 5. Finally, for the final showdown, you face Ganon, as Undeniable Fate plays in the background, referencing the final showdown with Urizen in Devil May Cry 5. Last but not least, we have our spirits. There are a lot of iconic characters from Devil May Cry, so it's hard to fit them all here, but I'll try to include at least the main characters. First up, of course, is the fighter spirit, that of Dante. Then we move on to the spirits obtainable from the spirit board. I will go in chronological order from their introduction into the series to make this a bit easier on me. Starting off, we have our Legend Spirit, Sparta. Get it? Legendary Dark Knight Sparta? He will be a neutral type. Its battle will be a fight against Purple Dante on Omega Form Norfair. Don't mind the footage here, I'm going to use Ganondorf to fill in. Sparta, living up to his legacy, will be all-powerful, and primarily use smash attacks, which have heavily increased knockback. He will also use Devil Trigger a lot to make his attacks even more powerful. Continuing with an Ace Attack Spirit, Trish. Her role will be played by Bayonetta in her Bayonetta 1 skin on Pilot Wings. Bayonetta will occasionally get a boost in strength, mimicking Trish's DT. Next up, an Advanced Defense Spirit, Nello Angelo, played by the previously mentioned horrible amalgamation of Black Knight and Virgil Mii fighters on Omega Form Temple. He will occasionally teleport. After that, we have a Novice Grab Spirit, Arkham, played by Brown Ganondorf on Temenegru. He does not attack and avoids battle, but will spontaneously gain his final smash at random and unleash it, mimicking the role of the actual Arkham. Moving on, we have Lady, an Advanced Attack Spirit. In her battle, she will be played by Bayonetta. She will prioritize using her neutral special. This fight is also fought on the Temenegru. Next, Virgil, an Ace Attack Spirit. His battle uses the Virgil Mii fighter on Temenegru. He will block and parry your attacks often, true to the nature of the actual fight against him. After that, we have our first support spirit, a Novice, Kyrie. She is played by Jigglypuff on the Kalos Pokemon League, and all she does is sing. And to accompany his loving partner, we have Nero, an Ace Grab Spirit. His battle will be fought against the Nero Mii fighter on the Kalos Pokemon League, and he will favor using grabs. Our next support, Nico, is advanced. Her battle will take place on Spirit Tracks, and she will be played by Zero Mission Zero Suit Samus. She will taunt a lot. Our last main character, V, will be an Advanced Defense Spirit. He will be represented by Black Marth on Midgar, and he will prioritize running away from the player. And lastly, our final spirit is Urizen, the big bad of Devil May Cry 5, an Ace Defense Unit. He will be played by a blue Ganondorf on Omega Form Norfair, who will be giant and spawn with a back shield. And that about covers it. There we have it, all the possible Devil May Cry content in Smash. I know I didn't cover every game in the series, as there wasn't a lot of time and I did leave 2 out because it's not very well regarded in general, but hey, Dante's Rebellion comes from 2, so there's your 2 representation. Be on the lookout for my video covering a full moveset for Dante in the near future, and let us know what series you'd like us to cover next. I'll be continuing to make Devil May Cry content for this channel, as it seems I'll be stuck in that for a bit, what with the remainder of my Devil May Cry 5 review in the future, and you know I'm gonna be right on the Devil May Cry 1 switchport. So look forward to my further coverage of the series in the future. Yes, we do make more than Smash videos on this channel. Please watch them. If you're a Devil May Cry fan like me, I've made 2 Devil May Cry videos already on this channel, and they'll be up on the screen right now. Before I run out of time, thank you to our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. A link to his channel is in the description below. Bye.